Good afternoon, not evening, gamers. I am theStroke, and this is One More Game Podcast, episode 24. Today is the 29th of August, 2022, and I'm here with my good buddy Swift. Swift, what's going on? Yeah, it looks like you got picked up a little sunburn there. Very nice. And stand by. Someone told me that they cannot hear you. That's probably on my end. I sure can hear you. A little off. Working. Yep, can't hear you either. All right, all right. Let's try that. Go ahead and say something cool. Nope, that's not working. WTF, mate? Yeah, this is where we make our money. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I think. Fixed it there. Let's go over to this bad boy. Go ahead and talk.
Hello.
All right. We're back, maybe.
Hello.
Back
Maybe.
in action.
Chad.
Like never before. Cool.
Hope so.
Well, thanks for helping us fix that, chat. And if you weren't listening to Swift because he was physically unable to talk, go ahead and tell the viewers why you're so effing sunburned.
Yeah, we brought jets up to Flagstaff this weekend they do a Thunder over Flagstaff, like little air show or whatever. So we got to go up and bring two F-16s and just answer questions for about 8 hours on Saturday. We were dumb and didn't bring any chairs or a tent. So it's one of the few times in my life that my heels have actually been sore.
Standing in the sun, telling people how airplanes.
Yeah.
You know, Swift, did you get the standard common questions that you never really think about when you're the actual pilot? Like, I remember everybody used to ask me, how far can the F-16 go on one tank of gas? And we would never do that or try that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we got a lot of that. We also got a lot of hey, what jet is this? um to which we had to answer, ma'am, this is the F-16. So
This is C5.
but it was fun.
Was that Air Force PA asking?
Right.
This some fulcrum? All right. Well, you also heard PickleMatt there. What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Oh, I'm on the deep night train, so I'm not actually allowed to go into work until an hour and a half from now. So I'll be flying until about midnight tonight, and then heading home around 3 a.m. I think it's gonna be great.
Deep night.
If you're wondering why we're out and about in the sunlight on this podcast, we had some scheduling conflicts, but we managed to make it work midday for your continued loyalty. And I myself was celebrating my daughter's 3rd birthday yesterday.
She's getting so big.
3. She told me she's ready to drive. Yes.
That's terrifying.
Cool, boys. We'll hit listeners with we'll just jump right into the news for the week because we've got a lot to cover. All right. So while we've been gone, we've had Gamescom. So let's just hit you with a quick wrap up of everything that kind of announced, shown. A lot of it was trailers, which is kind of announcement. Boys, feel free to jump in here at any time if you saw something. First off, there were a lot of cool trailers that I spent a lot of time watching. Me, the highlights were Hogwarts Legacy. Kind of showed a little bit of storyline. A lot darker than I thought it was going to be. Darker than
Yes, same.
darker
Yep.
than the movies. That was pretty. If you didn't see
It's
it,
interesting.
go ahead.
I was gonna say that's interesting because the Harry Potter series, the book series, didn't start off very dark either, but it got darker as it kind of went along.
Yeah.
Book
Because everybody
4
got
is where it takes that turn, gets
yeah.
dark.
So I thought the game would be more of the light, like first 1-2 movie or 2 books kind of situations, because that would, I don't know, it's kind of like the magical, like happy times, but it seems like they're not going that route.
I'm actually kind of excited that it's not necessarily the books or the movies, you know? It seems like they're doing their own thing and they're just bringing Harry Potter to life in their own unique way. So it's cool to me to see that the storyline is not the book storyline, which Shannon and I listen to every single night. So I feel like I might get a little bit bored with that, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this game.
I think they're smart to kind of go well separate. They don't have to
Yeah.
adhere too tightly to. I agree. I was expecting a lighthearted thing, and they're like, "Oh, they're like learning how to do the Cruciatus curse." Cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to play Lego Harry Potter after that. Get
Yeah,
the
there you
lighter
go.
side of things.
Lighten it up a little bit.
Cool. Another one I thought was pretty cool looking was called Lies of P, which is a steampunk kind of variation on the story of Pinocchio. And in that story, lying and deceit is incorporated, and that looks kind of cool.
I watched the trailer and he never specifically said words, but I never saw his nose get bigger. So I don't know how they're incorporating Pinocchio.
I didn't either, and I also was like confused because I thought that protagonist was chick until he called him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this one of those Pooh Bear situations where the copyright just expired, so now there's all these weird
exactly.
Winnie the Pooh things coming out? Did you guys see that?
The 50-year copyright statute in America is over on so now turned into whatever. And I did see what you're talking about, the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
I also saw that one is they call it Souls-like in the description. We talked about that either last week or a couple weeks ago as far as Souls-like versus Souls-light. It looks more like a Souls-light, but I don't know. I mean, they didn't really show too much of the storyline, just a few clips of gameplay.
Yeah, so I kind of noticed that the fights seemed very like with the way the bosses move and predicting their stuff, but he appeared to have so many abilities and like mobility and kind of stuff that it seemed like combat will be easier.
There was an article I saw that they were saying that it might be Xbox players might finally be getting a Bloodborne style game, basically. Nice. So people are comparing it to Bloodborne.
Yeah, it kind of reminded. Cool. Dead Island 2 got a really gory trailer. Go ahead and watch that if you're in. I never played Dead Island. Did you?
No. I played it for about, I don't know, 5 hours, and I don't remember what happened. I think maybe a different, better game that I liked came out, and I stopped playing it. I never really got too far into it. It seemed like a decent zombie game, but I think they were overdone at the time.
Yeah, that game is generally well regarded, but this one looked pretty exciting for me. Was the Sonic Frontiers trailer? They're kind of just explaining what their open world, not so open world game trailer would. It looks like it kind of mashes up like your standard old school 2D Sonic with a lot of bit of. It almost seems like their Super Mario Odyssey version
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
of boss battles. And I saw one thing that looked kind of cool where you circle an enemy with your blue dash ability to do.
Nice.
Sometimes Sonic games tend to turn into like you hit a ramp or a spring and then you kind of like watch him dash around 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I think that'll be a
Nice.
cool. Another one that looked really cool, strange, was Spoken. Did you guys watch the trailer on this?
Yeah,
No,
I saw the trailer.
I did not.
Yeah, so really cool, like hardcore type mobility that you would see in a lot of other games like Titanfall, but it's all mixed in with like fighting looks insane.
I just imagine, like we talked about last week, I'm going to be doing the one move and one spell the entire time if
Yeah.
I buy that game.
Yeah,
Because
could be one of them.
from the trailer, it looks like you can do some really cool stuff, like both spells and parkour style moves.
Yeah, looks pretty neat. Keep your eyes out for that. That one didn't have any.
Like they said, 2023 is it?
Lastly, that stuck out for me is, and I know Swift's a big expand. Telltale, the game studio that makes kind of like choose your own adventure video game versions of novels based on other media may watch, or making an advanced tell play some of the characters. Swift is probably pretty excited.
I do love that show, and I watched the trailer and them, like the behind the scenes. It might have just been the Gamescom interviews, but it seems like it's before the timeline is before the Expanse series, and so you get a little bit more character development into some of the characters that are you don't really know what happened to them, but you just know they're kind of upset at life and certain people and stuff like that. So. But it does seem kind of more like a choose your own adventure, not a linear story, which I think could be really cool.
Yeah. You guys ever play any of the Telltale games?
I don't think so.
I don't remember playing one. What's their most famous one? Do you know?
The Walking Dead, Telltale,
Oh, okay.
and their Borderlands ones are pretty popular. Tales from the
Okay.
The one I played the Walking Dead first Game of Thrones one, and what I learned from that is like no matter what you do, you end up getting your throat sliced by who was that really evil guy? The house, the flayed man. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I know who
Jon
you're talking
Snow
about.
kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, spoiler, dude.
Yeah, no matter what I did in that, you were like some younger kid in other house that's not really mentioned in the shows, but it's in the books, I guess. And you're like, he comes in and starts trying to be the boss of your place. No matter what decisions you make, you eventually
You end up
slice.
dead.
Cool. All right. You guys notice any other trailers or things that you picked up from Gamescom?
I have two that I'm excited about. We'll see how it ends up, but the Dune Awakening trailer, they didn't show any gameplay or anything, but I watched the movie. I've read the first book. I'm halfway into the second book, and they do the books weird. So technically, I finished the first like Dune actual book, even though there's 3 books in there. It's a little confusing, but
There's actually more. There's a lot more, but
yeah,
they're read by other people.
Yeah. But I'm excited for that, depending on how it looks, and it seems like based on the description, it's more of a survival game than anything else. So I'm interested to see how they make that play out, at least as far as the Gamescom article that I read.
Yeah,
And
I think they
then
announced that it's going to be an
survival.
MMO survival.
Yeah,
MMO survival. Yeah.
I'm actually looking online
Um,
right now. You can sign up for the beta right now if you want to.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to do that. There you go. Hot take from One More Game. Sign up for the Dune Awakening beta if you are into that sort of thing. So I'm interested to see how that looks. The trailer looked good, but it wasn't actual gameplay. So who knows? We'll see. And then the other one that kind of caught my eye was Where the Winds Meet. It seems like kind of Ghost of Tsushima. You know, it's got like the samurai like feel and everything, except it's got much more of like the I don't really know how like what word to use to describe it, but it's got like the wind walking and stuff. So you have like certain abilities. You can jump on water, you can multi jump through the air. Time slows down when you draw your bow. So I thought that looked really interesting because I like the Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, it's also goes with a Chinese lore type medieval
Okay.
Chinese. So that's a cool like much stuff as we talk about China. We don't have a whole lot of education on old school China, which is cool to explore.
Yeah. So those are the two that I'm excited about,
Well, what about you,
other than the
PickleMatt?
ones we talked about.
Yeah, Dune was. I remember Dune was like the first real time strategy I played. The original PC game, which is really really old. I think it came out in the 90s or early 2000s, but should be interesting to see how that game plays out. Did you guys see There's the other Dune game that just came out a few months ago. It's
Spice
a real time
Wars?
strategy. Yeah, Spice Wars. It's like kind of a remake of that.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. It's I think they're probably trying to iron out some kinks. It's still early access, but there's that.
They also, sorry to cut you off there. They also announced that the second Dune movie, is being filmed and it's supposed to come out, I think, next year or early 2024. I can't remember the exact date, but I'm really looking forward to that. I enjoyed the first one.
Did you read the book before the first movie?
No, I had never read the books. I'd watched the movie and it got
Okay.
me interested. So I ordered like I got a soft copy, six individual books.
Yeah.
And I'm only halfway through the second one. So
Yeah, it's my favorite sci-fi book of all time. It kind of started the whole space opera sci-fi genre,
yeah,
if you will. But
that book is amazing.
oh yeah, I had read it way before I watched the movie, and apparently a lot of people. Well, I didn't even realize this until like the week it released, but a lot of people didn't realize that the movie was like a two-part situation. So
Oh
when the
yeah,
credits roll on the movie, you're like, what? It's like, no, the ending doesn't tie up anything.
Yeah. And I noticed that when I was reading, because I had gotten to watch the movie first, I noticed that there were a lot of parts kind of interspersed in the movie that they miss big chunks of the book, but then kind of jump ahead to a certain part in the book. Um, so I'm interested to see how they do the second one and wrap up the entirety of the first Dune book.
I
I
think
mean,
the
did you?
second one's going to be a lot more impressive too. Well, the first off, the cinematography on the first one is amazing, but
It is.
the second one's going to be super impressive because one thing that I didn't like about the book was kind of that last battle just kind of happens and ends really
Yeah,
quickly.
there's nothing to it in the book.
And I think they're gonna go all out with that in the
Yeah.
movie, and I think it's gonna be super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
go
was
ahead,
a
Stroke.
first one was a. You guys watched the old?
I have not watched the old one.
Okay,
I've seen part of it.
self a
Yeah,
favor, and the new movie makes some cool callbacks.
yeah,
Thing to see that they tried to make that movie.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
tough, man. That's tough.
All right, a couple other announcements I thought were interesting from Gamescom was the PS5 DualSense Edge controller. This is their pro version of their. We were talking about this first read the. I think PickleMatt, he makes a good point, and the DualSense controller is already so nice, not going to feel like as jump from Xbox. But it has all the bells and whistles you would expect from a pro type controller. Buttons on the back, customizable stick caps, changing how far you can depress, and then profiles that you can save into the internal memory. Up. I don't know, going to be enough for you guys to switch from your favorite PC?
I want to get this for sure.
I do kind of, I don't know, like you said, this is kind of what I brought up when it first got announced is the the DualSense controller is already so good. It's hard to imagine what a more premium one would be like. But because like the Xbox controller that comes with the console, it just feels kind of a little bit cheaper, I guess. Where the DualSense, it just feels like is a futuristic piece of art that really functions well.
Yeah.
And it's already got so many features. But I think a lot of people are going to like the buttons on the back. But I don't know if they're going to price it like Did they release the pricing?
I didn't see it.
If they're going to price it like the Xbox Elite controller, I'm going to have to pass until it goes on sale because I don't see $150 for paddle switches being
Yeah.
really that big of a deal for me.
It's almost too many buttons for me. So
Yeah. I find myself wondering like what I mapped battles to all the time. Accidentally.
Dude.
Like, in Elden Ring, I have
Yeah.
died a few times because I accidentally hit a paddle.
Me too. I have I gotta change it. One of the paddles is mapped to the X button, which is chug your potion or do whatever your bottom thing is, and I accidentally chug potions on a regular basis.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Probably kept you alive without you.
no, full health and then drink another health potion.
Cool. Other than that, Hideo Kojima's making a podcast. That is, he's behind games like Solid and Last. Want to get in some insight on the strange mind of that man. Podcast. September 8th. Spotify. Called Brain Structure. Yeah, he's not necessarily a video game podcast. It's kind of a dive into his brain, shed some light on his creative process. Imagine being so hubris that you make a podcast about how you
About your
think.
own brain. Yeah.
That's what I thought when I heard the description of it. It just seems a little bit cocky, but at the same time, you could argue that he's one of the greatest minds in video game history.
Kind of the rock star of. Cool. All right, some exciting news coming for you. Game Pass. Xbox has not necessarily announced leaks about Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family Horizon. So basically a logo sound. Their data mining stuff that Game Pass Friends and Family. That's been a rumored thing going on where you can share your account and benefits with in the same country. This would kind of be cool if us three dudes want to chip in together and save some money.
Yeah. The OneMoreGame podcast Game Pass.
Yeah.
But I think this has got some really cool benefits for like, let's say like a dad gamer, kid gamer, instead of having two accounts. Like, Spotify.
Yeah. And remember, it's a leak too. So, like, it could be dramatically different than what everybody's thinking. Like, maybe your friend, the primary pass holder, can do whatever they want, and the friend can,
Has
have 2
access
hours
to
of gaming or something.
Yeah, 4 games a month.
Yeah, something like that. So, hopefully,
Like
it's a full access type thing.
Steam, when you do this share thing, if you share a game with someone and then you're playing it and then they try to play it, it'll only let the primary person.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Hey, Craig says occasionally you'll cut out. Just so you know, I don't know.
Me?
Yeah, you. Like the purple bar isn't going around your window sometimes. I don't know if it's
Cool.
just a Twitch thing.
Love it. Love this technology that we have. So, anyways, moving on. I don't know if you guys watched it. I watched the whole damn thing, but Destiny 2 had their reveal about their upcoming roadmap, and they revealed their next expansion, which we already knew what it was going to be called, but it's called Lightfall. And kind of what they showed was their new direction for They had a reveal trailer and kind of some discussion about where I'll highlight some of the stuff for you here. So kind of a new art direction that Destiny hasn't done. We're getting like a neon, bright, cyberpunkish looking
City.
city going on, which you're never in a city in Destiny.
Yeah.
A new subclass called it's a poison subclass. I think it's called something else like and or something. Destiny weirdly, but so that's going to include a grapple ability. So think straight up ripoff from Halo Infinite. The only thing that everyone universally loved about that game was the ability to grapple around, and so there you have it. That looked pretty cool in the trailer.
In Halo?
Yeah, Halo Infinite. Get the
Oh.
grapple.
Which one's Infinite?
The newest one. The one that
copy.
you probably didn't play much.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. And let's see what else. There's going to be a new location, Neptune, which I don't think we've been to before, but they mentioned that it's in an alternate timeline. So we're going Marvel Cinematic Universe here with alternate timelines. You're going to be teaming up / facing off against their version of Guardians called Cloud Surfer, something like that. And then the stuff that we highlighted a couple weeks ago: better player history system, in-game looking for group / grouping up with people without having to Discord, and then some quality of life features. But I'm pretty excited about this. It's going to be the second to last expansion before they end this whole kind of story arc that they've been doing, light versus dark, blah blah blah. New raids, all that kind of stuff. So you can bet your buns that Bonsai Gaming will be in there for at least 6 hours, failing at the world's first Destiny raid in Lightfall.
Nope. Not doing it.
I'll be there.
You don't want Swift to just suddenly be like, all right, I'm out.
That was one of the worst experiences I've had in cooperative gaming.
Oh, it was fun, dude.
It was so fun until it wasn't.
Get out of here. All right, so you guys are you I started playing Destiny again just because of this trailer. You guys excited for this or not at all? Oh.
I'm gonna find it hard to get back into Destiny, but we do have a lull between now and so I gotta finish Elden Ring, and then there's gonna be a lull between now and God of War 2 or God of War Ragnarok. So maybe that's the time. But
yeah, I'm excited for the new expansion. I am happy to get back into Destiny. I love that game.
I'll get back into it. Yeah, it's settled.
I'm sad that Lightfall. I feel like it's gonna be like WoW. This is not what I'm sad about, but I feel like it's gonna be like WoW, where you're gonna run around the map and go looking for group, and everyone's gonna be that poison subclass because it's the new hotness. But Hunter for life.
Yeah, baby.
But
is that what is the? I still don't. Never mind. I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
It's so funny how PickleMatt went like ham in that game for like 3 weeks, but really didn't like learn anything.
That's the story of my gaming.
Yeah, I've
world.
noticed.
That's okay though. I'm level 81 in Elden Ring now. After 2 weeks.
Holy crap! You passed me.
Nice. But I'm sad it doesn't. The new expansion. I mean, obviously they can't announce it and then it be released the next day, but it doesn't come out until like the middle to end of February next year. So we have a little while to wait, which just gives us time to actually beat the raids from this expansion.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Prior to going into the new one.
Oh, that's when Harry Potter comes out ish, right?
Ish, yeah.
Uh-oh.
There you have it. Well, I jumped in there and got my Fortnite skin, by the way, boys. I'll get into that later. Cool. And then last bit of news for the week, Phil Spencer of Xbox was interviewed recently, and he kind of summed up his thoughts about exclusives and consoles. Basically said in the future here, he sees exclusives becoming a much less important thing, much to the chagrin of other companies, which he did not name, talking about. But he made some good points, summed up idea, and we've talked about this in previous episodes. Not financially smart to cut off a portion of your market, right? So in the modern day, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to deny people to be able to play together certain games, jump in there with friends, find new friends on a game because it's stuck on, just because their parents decided, and this is especially true for kids, depending on what he said, quote, piece of plastic they decided to buy to plug into the TV. So that kind of makes sense to me and kind of foreshadows what we've been talking about for a while.
Xbox is going to make an all metal Xbox next, or sorry, PlayStation.
Yeah.
It'll be an all metal PlayStation.
Yeah, they're just going to totally misread and interpret that statement. Cool.
I'm wondering, like, is this because obviously he works for Xbox, right? So is this him basically giving up and saying, yeah, we know our exclusives suck and we know PS has better exclusives, or Sony?
Oh, I can't imagine that. I mean, they just bought Activision Blizzard and Bethesda.
I know, but
If anything, it's an olive branch. You know what I mean? Like, hi, by the way, we're not going to completely screw over everybody out of Bethesda games just because you don't own an Xbox.
That's true. My mind went a completely different direction. Either what I said, or this is him saying that there probably won't be another Xbox, and then exclusives will kind of go away.
That's kind of what I almost read into it too. Is like Game Pass and cloud gaming, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did just
who knows?
reinvest into their cloud xCloud infrastructure, and we've been, the three of us have been talking about this for weeks and weeks, about their focus seems to be Game Pass and getting that thing on everything.
Yeah,
we'll see, man.
I'll be playing Game Pass on my refrigerator like I can play Skyrim.
What I definitely read into about that is that all of these studios that they now own, Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, I don't see them, based on these statements, making any of that, even Starfield, Xbox.
Yeah.
It is nice being a part of the PC master race with a PlayStation. No worries right here.
Go, boys. That is the news for gamers this week. Let's get into our games radar. All right, PickleMatt, hit us with the first one.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection. Comes out on 30 August, not October. All platforms. You're going to be Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. And you're emerging from the sewers as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's 13 radical games from Konami's entire archive of retro 8-bit, 16-bit, and arcade TMNT titles, which is really cool. So didn't the game that you just played, is that a part of it?
No, it's not on there. That's a separate game, but that game is basically like an homage to all of those old games.
Okay. Yeah, so all the old games playing on one collection, which is really cool.
Yeah. They're my favorite gaming memories. Be cool to tag that up in one bundle. They even showed like some of the Game Boy titles to be able to play black and white.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
On your 27-inch monitor playing black and white.
Yeah. Blow up that Game Boy screen into 27 inches.
Yeah. Individual pixels taking up an inch.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'll go next. So if you haven't played this game called Inscription, do yourself a favor, because it's very, very strange, but it has this outstanding review. Very casual to play, but very interesting. Basically, it describes it as, well, first of all, it comes to PlayStation. It's already been out on other platforms. It arrives on 30th of August. Figure lurking in the shadows challenges you to a game called Inscription, a inkly black card-based odyssey that blends deck building roguelikes like Fire, escape room style puzzles, and psychological horror into a smoothie. So like, this game is super strange looking. Has outstanding reviews. Comes out tomorrow on PlayStation. Out if you're looking for a casual game to get in.
On Steam, it's overwhelmingly positive with 70,000 interviews, and then recent reviews, and then recent reviews is 1,600 overwhelmingly positive, which is pretty You don't see that very often. Must
Yeah,
be really good.
this game was up there on. I think it did win Indie Game of the Year. Check it out.
I could get down with that. I played a lot of Gwent just within the Witcher 3.
Yeah, it looks. I watched the trailer. The concepts look pretty simple, but I imagine it gets pretty complex as you. All right, Swift. What do they got to look forward to this week? Finally, on the PC at least.
The Last of Us Part 1 remaster comes out the 2nd of September on PC and PS consoles.
Yeah, I'm excited to check this out. It's my time sync.
Yeah, if you didn't play the first one yet, you might as well buy this one, unless you want to save money and just play the first normal one on Game Pass. But Last of Us is one of the greatest PS4 games that were made, and dude, I think I'm gonna skip the remaster because it doesn't look like they changed much. It's just graphics, and then it looks like some of the cut scenes they modified to make them just a little bit cooler, a little more storytelling. But great game though. Both of you guys, I think, would love the remaster at least.
Is this going to be available to us through the subscription? Or?
That's
I
a good
don't
question.
think it'll be. I think you could probably play a 2-hour trial if you get the premium subscription, but you might have to look into that.
There you have it, folks.
We move on.
Games Radar for the week. This is the portion of our podcast where we would get into a listener email or podcast review, but I have nothing for you. So if you want to help us out in this section of the show, you can go to OMGpodcastGG at gmail.com. Not go there, but send an email there and let us know what you think about the show. What do you want to hear us talk about? Games that you're excited about, games that you've been playing. What do you think of Swift's sunburn? All that kind of stuff, and let us know. Tell us how to fix all these technical difficulties. We're looking for anything in the email realm. And then if you really want to help our podcast out, the best way to do that to help us kind of be found and be shared, to leave a review on any one of the podcast websites. That helps us be discovered through algorithms. Sciencey stuff. There you have it. All right, boys, let's get into the major topic for the week. All right, we're a pretty toxic group here, so let's talk about toxicity in gaming. We got a little story for you. I was teaching these guys how to play HOTS. We're just playing ARAM, all random, all mid. Just learning the ropes. And I think it was Easy who was playing Li Ming, and he's got like no damage. It's like one of his first games, and this kid just starts typing in the chat about how much Easy is just a waste of life and needs to go, do all kinds of stuff, and just sitting there thinking like, how do you expect anyone to get into this game when the first thing that happens to them is just get flamed by somebody who just has nothing better to do? I'm proud of you guys for sticking through that. There was a point in my Heroes of the Storm gameplay time frame where I just muted chat during the games. I didn't even allow it to show up.
Yeah.
Dude, that same thing happened to me earlier this week where we were winning really hard and this guy was just criticizing everybody on the team. It's just like, bro, this is a game for fun within a game for fun, and we're winning.
Me?
Yeah. Why are you so upset?
Be a normal guy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's getting worse and worse every year. We thought it'd be interesting to talk about toxicity, where it comes from, what to do about it. If you're doing it, how to, just calm the F down.
Just relax a little bit.
I mean, we've all been there, right? We've had a terrible death and we want to just reach out. So why do we do that as humans? What do you think? Like, why do you just immediately try to blame someone else?
I think it just kind of goes back to just our human nature as far as like if you're passionate about something and you want to do well and somebody is potentially screwing that up, it could be their fault. It could be your fault, but
Right.
you just don't want to take the blame. So you're going to just spew a whole lot of nonsense at the rest of your team or whatever it happens to be.
Well, I mean, and then there's some people that are playing that like they will not be smile. They won't smile. Behind that microphone, they won't smile or like if somebody walked into their room, you could tell that they weren't having fun, and they will never have fun while they play games.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
just be screaming and yelling the whole time.
Like, what? Why do you need to do this? If you're not having fun, don't do that thing that's not fun.
Yeah.
But
Do something else.
I've been there playing World of Warcraft with, you know, my arena's partner, and it's always when you die, right? Because now you have time to type.
Yep.
Yeah.
MOBAs are the worst, and that's why League of Legends probably has such a bad rep. But yeah, it's easy to blame someone else when you're screwing up. But guess what? My philosophy is these days, when you're dead, it's usually your fault.
Yeah. It's the same kind of philosophy we have as pilots, where like if something's not happening on the radio that you're expecting to, and you're like, what is everybody else doing? No, check your own jet first, check your comm cords, all that stuff, because it's probably you that's screwing something up.
If everyone else is wrong, if everyone is wrong, you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
Cool. What have been your most toxic experiences in gaming?
You mentioned it, League.
Yeah.
League is brutal, and it has
What's
that
it-
reputation right off the bat.
What's the deal with that? Is it voice chat, or is it just people yelling at you for on the keyboard?
It's not voice chat, but the I think the thing that differentiates League from like Heroes of the Storm, you can be in game, you can be toxic to your teammates. In League, there's all chat during the games, so you can be toxic as hell to the other team. It's just overall
Yeah.
a toxic place.
Yeah.
My experience, the most toxic games I played were when I was probably high school, college, playing Call of Duty especially with like proximity chat. Dude,
Oh god.
Yeah.
there were so many high pitched prepubescent voices that were yelling words that I didn't even know until I was like 18, including like racial slurs, like fairly frequently, or like anti-Semitic and just crazy things that you're just like, what
Yeah.
in the world? And I think
why?
the why I think is partly because anonymity with the internet. It's just like a
True.
message board where you can say whatever you want and nobody's gonna know.
Yeah. Sad. I think for me, it first started. I first started noticing it in Halo 2 post game lobbies, where you could talk to the other team,
Yep.
and that was just like you said,
Everybody's
immediate racial slurs, like how bad this person is, blah blah. Blah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Big Eats in the chat said everyone is hacking and my death is not my fault. I think that's a mindset that a lot of people have. Or I think a big one too is like everybody's like, I couldn't possibly die unless he was doing something that was total bush league, like
Yeah.
spawn camping or hiding behind X wall so that he could just wait for me around the corner or something like that.
Yeah, you call them a pussy because they killed you with a certain weapon, right? I remember it was the noob tube back in the day. Or like it's like you can't just accept the fact that someone might be better than you at this current activity.
Right.
Got to make excuses.
Dude, I got chewed out on Battlefield 2 for PC back when I didn't have a gaming PC. It was just like my parents' PC. Because there was one map where I would just run forward as a sniper and I would sprint and sprint. And then I would get to the little gap in the fence that everybody used to go through on this one map. And I would just plant a claymore and then I'd hide around the corner. And as soon as the claymore went off, it would kill one or two people. And then I would just like suicide myself by throwing grenades as quickly as possible. And the other teams would get so freaking mad because that was like the only choke point on that map. I'm like, hey man, just don't go through that fence.
This is not a viable exit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fortnite for me is definitely one of those because like when you die, there's so many things introduced into the game that allows people to be quote unquote toxic.
Yeah.
That donkey sound.
Yeah. That thing. Oh my god. And you have to sit there and watch it. It's like
I think that's the worst part. It wouldn't be toxic if you didn't have to watch it. I mean, it still would be from their perspective, but you wouldn't have to deal with it.
I mean, that's Fortnite makes a bunch of money off of that stuff. Do you think? Let's bring up this conversation. Do you think developers should have a responsibility to remove that stuff? Is it all fair game? Is it video? Is light teasing a part of gaming online? What's the deal with that?
I mean, I think a lot of the developers have a financial incentive. You actually just brought up a good point that Fortnite might have a financial incentive to do it the opposite way, where you can sell somebody a taunt, I guess. But I think a lot of them
Yeah.
have a financial incentive to make sure that they're at least doing a little bit of policing so that people aren't just like, well, I don't want to pick up this game anymore because I'm just going to get screamed at by a 10-year-old and called the N-word and called all these different things that like I just don't want to hear that. And then
Yeah.
the game dies because of it.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk about when Halo Infinite came out, they said that like they were going to make teabagging not possible, where it would like not let you crouch if you were standing over a dead body and kind of stuff. And I kind of just wonder if that's like a little too much censoring because some people get offended by it, and now we have to sugarcoat everything. And I don't. It's kind of a weird slippery slope argument that you could make, but
Dude, well, I mean, I see kind of two sides to the argument. Obviously, taking it too far is not cool. With the taunts or whatever, specifically the language post game, all that stuff, obviously not cool. But I did see, and I think I brought it up in an episode a while back, but I saw someone's girlfriend, I guess, was watching him play Halo or what COD or whatever it happened to be, and he died and got teabagged, and she was trying to sue the person on the other side of the internet because it was sexual assault, and it's like we've come too far now that everyone has to file their hurt feelings reports.
yeah.
So it's like not really the responsibility of the developers. Just be a normal person and realize it's a video game. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we have seen some instances where companies have decided to, because it's weird. A lot of games have their own like unwritten rules that get kind of built on things that don't do because they're disrespectful or whatever. But like literally in Overwatch, if you type GG at the end of a match, it will filter it and it won't show it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like I can't even say something that's very, I'm not insulting a specific. I, I don't. To me, it just seems interesting. I get filtered on saying that. I can't even tease the other team because it's toxic.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything that kind of has tried to lean players the other direction? I'm thinking like commendation in Overwatch, where you like say "Good job, person, for being awesome," or end of Heroes of the Storm, where you vote on the best player. Think that leads to any positive change, or is it kind of just a thing that people?
I don't think so, honestly, just because
No.
when we get to the end of a
Why?
Heroes of the Storm game and like everybody but one person on our own team is up on the leaderboard, and we're like, oh, whole team, and then we're like, oh wait, no, dude,
Wait,
you
who's
suck,
that?
blah blah blah. So like even to on our team, we're jeering each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then if you're not playing with anybody, typically I just skip that whole process. I'm just like, yeah, give me the next game. I don't care.
it's just a never-ending like. Another example of filtering, like in Heroes of the Storm, you used to be able to, when you get matched with someone, you used to be able to right-click on their name before the game loaded and view their profile.
Yeah.
You can do that with your teammates still, but you used to be able to do it against who you were matched up against, and you could see like, oh, they're only gold 2, and now you can't even do that. And it's kind of interesting
Hmm.
that they don't want you to be loaded with ammunition to insult anyone.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the future too because you have like voice recognition technology and stuff. Like imagine if they implement that into a game and you just say like you say a word that sounds like the word and then suddenly you just have an instant ban on your account because you said something that sounds like a epitaph or a slur or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mark my words, someday someone will be running for some kind of public office and a news article will come out that shows the stuff they said in Final Fantasy 14 online in their guild, or
Yeah.
a post they made on their after a League of Legends game, and it's just going to be just dark, like toxic stuff, and that person's going to be crucified.
Or
One word.
not. Or they'll get elected in a landslide.
Yeah, idiocracy, baby.
That's right. Dude, I wouldn't call, anyway, I know somebody that plays games and has been banned on PlayStation Plus. I think 2 or 3 times because after games can't contain his rage and he will send DMs via just like recent players and send DMs of like just cussing people out. So he takes the time to like type out a message to cuss people out and just like make fun of them and do all this stuff. And there's like a paper trail and you're banned.
Yeah.
So I'll see that account, that person has to switch accounts to like be able to play video games again. It's just like,
Dude, I remember that on Xbox Live prior to
Xbox.
like
Oh yeah.
even when you weren't in voice chat, after a game you get some
Yep.
horrible message from some random person you didn't know on the internet
You get
about
the
how
little
bad you are, and you're just like, really? You're gonna waste moments of your day
hit the
typing out
little
this message?
you get the little bloop and then
Yeah.
the little switch over switch the blade over to the message blade and then oh look at that, I'm getting called something terrible for
Oh,
nothing.
cool. I love this game. Dude, it
Yeah.
literally happened to me the other day. I was playing Heroes of the Storm, and I mentioned something in chat about this guy. He died in the last fight. Like, the healer was almost respawning, and I was just like, wait, everyone, wait for the healer to come up. And he does an Artanis, like, god swap and into their whole team and gets killed. And I was like,
Nice.
we lost the game because you just couldn't wait a few seconds for our healer to respawn. And then after the game was over, he privately messaged me and just went on this rant tirade. I wish I had saved it. I have some saved from the past somewhere on this computer that I might post on our Twitter, which is, by the way, OMG_podcastGG on Twitter and Instagram. Feel free to reach out to us about your toxic, your fortunate experiences with the dark side of humanity in the worst forums in the world besides Reddit. Cool. All right. What is your least favorite form of toxicity that you have encountered? I'll tell you mine just to start it off. Intentionally dying or not participating
Oh yeah.
is my least favorite thing. Even if the other team does it, I will report that person in whatever game I'm, because it is hate it. I don't know why
yeah,
you.
it's just a giant waste of time for
I
everybody.
don't know why they spend their minutes of their day doing this. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throwing a game I think has to, like I can always mute people or just ignore the chat and kind of laugh at it, but when you intentionally throw a game that took me a minute to match, a minute and a half to select characters, and 15 minutes to play, you just ruined 30 minutes of my life that like are sacred to me, especially now that I'm so busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for your little
Time is like literally one of the most valuable things in your entire life, and when people waste it, it's so obnoxious.
Ugh. Maybe that's the thrill of it for them, is that power they hold over you. I don't get it, but
that's probably it, man. They have nothing, like they have enough time on their hands that they don't care. That's the
yeah.
thing.
Anything else that you can think of that you just can't stand?
No, I think that's the best one. That's a great example.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Nice. Well, I think we've kind of gotten to the end of this discussion, but here's a thought for you on a serious note. It's easy to think that gamers, hide behind that anonymity and all that kind of stuff, but it also is easy to make the link between people's true nature when they can not have repercussions.
Hide, yeah.
Right. So do you think the stuff that you encounter, not just in gaming, but in online, is like a scary, dark, accurate reflection of society? Or is it mostly the bad ones make it seem much worse than it is? Or what's your thoughts on this?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? Obviously, the most vocal people, if they're saying bad things, then they're gonna make everybody seem bad, right? Specifically by posting whatever toxic stuff in chat or whatever it happens to be. But I also think that it's those people, the specifically like horrible ones, are the most insecure about life and all kinds of stuff. So that's the only way they can kind of lash out and feel heard in whatever weird way they think that it's happening. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. Humanity is kind of at a baseline, just not that great sometimes, especially when you have anonymity, like you said. So, in my belief, people are going to regress down to their most basic primal ids of themselves. And if things aren't going your way, then that's what happens. And video games bring that out all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a little bit of a lot going on, but a lot of these people who are doing this, they may have their own issues going on. Like you said, they just outlet. They don't know how to hopefully use that outlet. And this is what restores kind of my faith in all of this and humanity and society. But here's a story, Swift. You probably experienced the same thing when you first started, but back in the day when I first started playing World of Warcraft, I am a lonely little hunter just learning the game, and I'm doing my first ever dungeon. I think it was Black Fathom Deep, and I'm just running through, attacking everything I see in sight, thinking I'm the man, right? Like, oh, I'm doing so much damage. And the tank just starts flaming me, calling me an idiot, and all kinds of stuff. Why? I don't doing wrong and blah
I
blah
don't
blah.
know what's happening.
Yeah, he's calling me racial slurs even though he has no idea like what I am. He's like, you're probably this, and that, and blah blah. And I'm just like, wow, this game is what is happening. And so eventually he quits. Like we don't even finish the dungeon, and I was like, oh my god, what have I done? And the remaining 3 members of the dungeon all private messaged me after we separated, because I think there was matchmaking for dungeons at that point when I started Wrath of the Lich. But every single one of them messaged me and was like, hey dude, you want to join up with us and we can explain to you like how all this works and how aggro works, what my role is as a damage dealer. And I had no idea, right? But they were all very friendly, very nice. So I do think that the bad apples are what we kind of tend to remember, have the loudest voice. Overall, the majority of gamers are, good people, just like the rest of.
Yeah.
I
Can
kind
I
of
say
have.
my?
Oh,
Sorry. Okay. You just brought up a really good point. Which can I say my like parting shot right now?
Yeah.
Because it just made me think of something. I was just gonna say like, and you guys might pile onto this at the end, but that makes me think of my experience in World of Warcraft and learning the game, and and it's typical of most games. If you're new and you don't really understand what's going on, the right response from your teammates or random people online is not to trash you. Just instead of doing that, just teach people how to play the game, and then everybody can enjoy it more.
Yeah.
I think that was what you and I were talking. Sorry, when it was pretty refreshing when we were starting Final Fantasy 14 online. You and I, because
everybody was so helpful.
Everyone is helpful. Like no one's mean.
Everyone's nice.
Everyone's a cat girl. I love it. This game's awesome.
Maybe that's the Final Fantasy, man. That's the culture there, I guess.
Final Fantasy is cat girls and cheery nature.
Yeah. I try to bring my own brand of toxicity into the game. You guys have played with me, but if any listeners do eventually, I try to make it a little bit humorous so that like if I'm going to be a little bit toxic or like make fun of somebody, I try to make it so that like they either can laugh at themselves or everybody can laugh and not like get everybody too angry about it, or I'll carry forward a joke while I'm doing that. But
you typically go with the self-deprecating humor where you talk about how miserable and shit you are.
Yeah, so that was going to be my parting shot, was like self-deprecation in those situations generally diffuses people like that, because then they'll either want to teach you or they'll laugh because I'll be like, Artanis is feeding reported, and I'm the Artanis character. So like obviously I'm not reporting myself to Activision Blizzard, but like then everybody laughs at that, as opposed to like just getting so angry about this person that's not very good.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of am spring loaded nowadays, especially when I'm playing solo queue in Heroes of the Storm, to immediately point out when I know that I screwed up really bad. So like instead of when I die, obviously making a bad decision and then being like, "Why weren't you guys with me?" I go, "My bad," or like immediately I try to make sure people know that like I'm not gonna be doing this.
Yeah.
That I have to do that.
I just say I've never played this hero before.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like level 17 with that hero.
Yeah, I was about to say, even though I'm level 10. Never played before.
Yeah.
This is my first time playing Vala. Sorry, guys.
Cool, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed our chat about toxicity in gaming. Our suggestion to you is just enjoy what you're doing, have fun, teach people how to play if they seem like they don't know what they're doing. If they're intentionally sucking, just use whatever system is in the game to report them and just move on. Don't lose any fun from day based. Potentially feeding, man.
Hey, Stroke, one more thing.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, my favorite toxicity ever is just people lying about what you should be doing in messages.
I love it.
Jump
That's
here.
also valid.
Jump here, and then you fall to your death.
And it's
okay.
I like it when it says jump here and it's surrounded by blood stains.
Yeah, that's right.
But then where you see them, where you're intentionally trying to go to, there's like one little message that you can see over there. You're like, oh, maybe you can make it, but they probably like went all the way around and put one
Yeah.
there to make you think. That game does player communication and toxicity type stuff pretty humorously without a whole lot of consequence.
Yep.
Cool. Well, there you have it, folks. We will move on to what we played this week. All right. PickleMatt, lead us off, brother.
All right, I played 2 games of Heroes of the Storm. We forfeited one of our matches, or this week's match, because we couldn't get enough people to play, which is very sad. But I was out there practicing for 2 matches. And then I played 1 game of Fall Guys because I saw the icon on my desktop and I had a little bit of time to kill. And I didn't want to boot up Elden Ring. And it was super fun. I enjoy that game. Swift, we're going to have to play a couple of matches. I need to get my skins over from PS5 because when it was free on the PS Store before it was a free to play game, I unlocked the fries costume so I can be McDonald's fries or whatever it is, which looks super cool.
Nice.
How does it work?
And
Can you
then-
play as like a 3-man squad? I don't.
A 4-man squad. I think
Yeah.
it's up to 4.
Yeah, we should do a One More Game podcast and listener group up there. That'd
Squad.
be fun.
Yeah.
Squad up.
I
on-
remember the only reason I know that is because I remember watching right when it first came out, all the big streamers would have 4 people that would totally like grab other people just to help them try to win.
Yeah.
And some did, and some Tim Tatman could not get a dub.
His first victory in that game was like his most viral video.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I played was Elden Ring. I can't put it down, man. Every time I explore a new part of the map, like I got to the Altus Plateau a few days ago, and I was like, "Oh, dope! I'm at the like end game portion of the map." And then there's like 4 more pieces of the map I had to unlock still, and I don't think I've unlocked all the map yet. And then there's so many things within those dungeons and caves and all the kinds of stuff. So it's so fun, and I've been spamming 1 or 2 magic moves and then my sword that I have there. It's a good time. It is refreshing to see player communications in that game that's not very direct and oftentimes funny and sometimes misleading, but usually very helpful. And that's all I played.
Yeah, there's almost never a time that you get ambushed without being able to find a message somewhere that tells you that's going to happen.
Oh, I was telling you guys earlier this week, I was like, dude, if I didn't have the internet with this game, because you can play offline, I would find 1/4 of the stuff that I was supposed to find, and then I would die probably 10 times as much with the ambushes and whatnot. And then one more thing about that game, like you said last week, there's no like there's no thing on your HUD that says you need to do this next for your quest or whatever. So one of the cooler parts, but I think one of the more frustrating for a person that's been spoon fed throughout all these types of games is the fact that like there are some quests that you have to listen to the player talking and then you will never know ever again if you forget what they said. I don't think unless you look it up, you will not progress their character quest.
Yeah.
And there's all these different types of endings you can unlock based on that. And I literally have I don't think I've done a single quest. I don't know if I have. Like, I'm not sure. There's no pop up that says you've completed the quest or you've done this or that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Just in this
no.
world.
That's not how quests work. The only way you know that you're on a quest is if you talk to an NPC about something that's not in their like purchase thing, like it's another
Yeah.
option, and then you find them somewhere else, or you talk to someone else about what you talked to them about. That's like the only way of knowing questing.
And I'm trying to not Google things as much as I can, but there's a couple of times where I'm just like, I don't know what this character is or what they're supposed to do, and I don't want to kill them accidentally or whatever it might be. But
I got to a point where I was following this quest line, and it got to like a stopping point that basically said, in order for this to continue, you must kill Radon, which I think is the next boss that I'm supposed to go find. But like, I can't do anything until that boss dies.
I don't even know who that is or where that is. Is that the one of the whatever?
I don't know. I haven't found him. I'll let you know. I think he's the
Oh,
dude with red hair that's from all the videos.
is he the one in the east, the Carrion Peninsula or whatever with the Scarlet Rot?
Got me.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I killed that general over there in the east, and that was a really fun battle. Anywho, there it is. That's it.
Cool, cool. All right. Swift, you got.
So not much this week. In flag stuff all weekend. I talked to you guys about it earlier. This is why I need the Steam Deck to be here soon. Please send me the email so that I can order it and use that thing when I'm not home. But in the earlier part of the week, I played a little bit of Elden Ring. I think I'm level like 45 or something now. I don't know actually if I'm that high. 36 maybe. But making my way through it, still really enjoying it. I'm definitely planning on getting into it this week, and hopefully, probably not catching you guys because you guys will probably be doing the same thing. But finding all these little tidbits that you guys keep talking about as far as random bosses that give you 80,000 runes and stuff, so that I can level up effectively. But that's it.
Yeah, if you find a giant dragon just laying there, not moving, run around him, go to his armpit, and just hack away at him. It'll take about 15 minutes because he's got infinity health, but when he dies, gives you like 90k.
It's that
Love
white
that.
dragon.
Yeah, that big white dragon. Just make
He's
sure you don't.
surrounded by like 45 black dragons.
Yeah, you have to like sneak past them and then just go stand by him. Make sure you're not aggroed on anything else. But
Man,
and
he
make
looks
sure
like he got food poisoning.
make
that
sure you
dragon.
eat the golden pickled foot before he dies because it ups your
Gives you extra runes.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But don't take
Hot
it.
tip.
Don't take it until he's almost dead because it literally takes like 15 minutes. I think the thing will
Okay.
wear off.
Well, and you're a samurai hacking
Yeah.
away. I'm not a sword user typically, so it'll probably take me at least 30.
Yeah, I found that if you find something that has bleed damage, that's how you kill him because that's a
Okay.
percentage based.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Sometimes you just don't have time to game, man. I'll get into it
Yeah.
real quick. I got into some Elden Ring. I think I'm level close to 6. ImPickleMatt has definitely passed me in that regard.
It's that magic, man.
I spent runes trying to be able to do magic. I unlocked it, and I was doing magic that was so weak. That was a waste. I think I'm gonna respec just into all dexterity and health samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can get towards the end game of that with like starting a new type. Like I would never be able to be a brawler like you are
Yeah.
because even the magic that I was doing before I started like getting a better staff and things like and better spells, I was just like, I'm gonna hit a stop here where I just can't even play the game anymore because it's so weak. But then
All right.
eventually I had to
Yeah,
boost some stuff. But
my magic spells were like in the current level of monsters that I'm facing. It barely hurts them. It pisses them off.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, and then what else? I played some Heroes of the Storm, boys. I decided that I will. Here's my experience last week with Heroes of the Storm. I was like, I'm gonna grind out of Storm League Gold and get back to where I once was, my glory days. And I just finally had one game with teammates who no one drafted a tank, no one drafted a healer, like, and we had a Valera for no reason, and nobody did anything useful. They just fought like we were in ARAM the whole time. I'm like, I literally typed to them, "Thank you for reminding me why I stopped playing this game by myself." And I don't think I'm gonna. I'm only gonna play ARAM if I'm by myself. Play quick match with you guys, but it's just very frustrating when trying to win and people just.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Heroes of the Storm, and then today I fired up Destiny because I was excited about the new stuff, and I kind of just got myself to the point where I can start doing the the new season stuff. It's all pirate themed, so you go on like treasure hunts and board ships and kind of cool space pirating. But yeah, basically I did that front. Like we talked about before, guys. If you'd like to hear us talk about a game that we played that you're interested in, just reach out to us at OMGpodcastGG on Twitter or Instagram. We'd love to give you a review of that. And Swift will get back on his Obscure Games Weekly this week.
Yes, sir.
Find something out there, maybe on Game Pass or in his Steam library that he can recommend or not recommend, as he typically does, in a weird game.
Yeah.
Cool. You should try Inscription if it's on PlayStation.
Yeah, I'll have to try it. We'll see.
All right, boys. We did your Swift. We did your around the room. PickleMatt, you got anything?
yeah, it's kind of like what I said before. But like when people are being toxic in video games, or even before that they can, just sometimes maybe try some self-deprecating humor because you'll make fun of yourself. That way they don't have to do it for you. You may make a few people laugh, and everybody leaves happier. Or if it's just not even humor, just self-deprecate and be like, "Hey, I'm new to this game. I don't know how to play this character." And usually people will cool down and just be like, "Oh, okay."
Help
Or
me.
or they'll help you. Or the worst case scenario is they make fun of you exactly and call you the racial slurs that they were planning on doing. So maybe try it.
Yeah. Here's my recommendation to you. If you don't want to just completely turn off in-game chat, which is what I had to do when I was really trying to rank up in HOTS, uh, just remember this. Every time you decide to flame someone or, shit on someone for screwing up in something as trivial as a video game, it can have more profound effects on them in a true life situation, right? So if someone's going through, who knows, right, depression or stuff that we talked about in previous episodes, and then suddenly they get random people on the internet telling them how shitty and useless they are, that would suck for you to have that kind of impact on them. So just remember that there's a person on the other side of it, and do what you can to make gaming once happy, positive experience that people play to experience.
Everybody I flame is bots because I can only kill bots.
Yeah. Cool, but that doesn't mean you can't. Lighthearted teasing, I think, still has a place and always should.
Yep.
Cool. There you have it, folks. You can find our, us streaming every week. Sometimes at Sunday or 9 p.m. on Sunday nights. Sometimes on a different random day. So thanks for joining us today, and we'd love to hear from you guys on social media as we talked about. You can find all of us streaming at twitch.tv/whatever you see on the screen there, or theStroke, Swiftmida, or ImPickleMatt from time to time. As for me, I'll be casting some Heroes of the Storm matches later this week. Trying to convince PickleMatt to join. And then Swiftmida has been stepping up his stream schedule recently. If you want to see him stare at you and not speak.
Is he talking?
Only sometimes.
And then PickleMatt, he loves to stream.
We got to
to
get over that.
shock
We gotta get
value.
over- No, we got to get over that. It was one time.
Cool. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers at mystream.store. Thanks. The ghost is off for your spam, and we'll have you removed immediately from the chat. Unless you
Make
hit
sure you
that
like and
follow
subscribe
button.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Thanks for joining us. You can find more episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or OMGpodcast.podbean.com, or anywhere else you might find your podcast. And I'll leave you with one final thought before we go. Just because you have to grow up doesn't mean you have to stop gaming. Game on, gamers, and we'll see you on the next episode of One More Game. Swift, PickleMatt, see ya!
See ya.